What is up, you guys? This is All Danny Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet build video. So this build video is going to be an assault build. Many of you guys had requested for a build for AR plus SMG, or AR plus rocket launcher, or AR plus whatever. So this is primarily, I wouldn't say this is primarily an AR build. You can use this with whatever build you want to, or whatever weapons you want to use. It just really depends on the main weapon you're using, so the skills you have for that main weapon, and then your secondary weapons. So the first thing we're going to look at is the stats. So I went with 120 strength, 106 vitality, 2 intelligence, 100 agility, 207 dexterity, and 100 luck. Now don't worry about your role. Right now it shows that I'm a tank next to my name. It has the tank symbol. Sometimes it all depends on the abilities you're using, but that doesn't make you a tank. It just says that I'm a tank. But I went with 120 strength because obviously I needed the gear weight just so I can equip different type of weapons. For example, if I wanted to use a sniper instead of handguns, then I'd still have enough room in order for myself to use the Deathwind. I wouldn't be able to use a Tiamat unless I'm using Tiamat by itself. But also with the higher strength, I would stop at 120. That would probably be the least I would stop at, is because I wanted to be able to dual wield the MG Minovsky and the long stroke. If I were to equip something like I don't remember, the LMG Kumtat, that one requires you to have like 140 strength, and honestly I don't think it's worth it. And it's not that great of a LMG anymore. I mean, it is a pretty good LMG, but it's not as good in comparison to Minovsky, because Minovsky has a higher fire rate and is a lot lighter. So the next thing is the vitality. So the reason why I did stop at 100, but then I ended up putting a little bit more points into vitality just for the extra health. But just like in any other build that I pretty much have, vitality does come down to being one of the important stats, because it does give you health, and having more health and damage resistance and stuff helps in the long run. There are ways to go around it. You don't necessarily need vitality for the defensive purposes, but you do need it for some skills. For example, there's going to be a skill you're going to be using that you're going to be needing, and it's going to help you a lot when you use that build or ability. So next is intelligence. I didn't put anything into intelligence because I didn't need it for this. The next one is agility, 100 agility just for the extra stats like the defense and whatnot, and then 207 dexterity for the extra crit damage and the weak spot damage, as well as my bullet circle accuracy and the gadgets and weaponry. I don't really know what those do. I guess the gadget power does more damage, maybe, or has a better effectiveness. And then luck. The reason why I got luck into 100 and not 200 or anything higher is because I never really realized or noticed a big difference of having 255 luck. I did cap my luck out just to see the drop rate differences and the crit chance differences, but honestly I don't see any real difference. What I was thinking is probably like you get 1% every 10 luck, so you're looking at like 25% or something luck, or 25% crit chance or whatever. But even then it still feels really low for the crit chance and the drop rate. That's why I stopped at 100, because I thought that was a decent stop. So the only points I really thought that were worth investing into was really dexterity, and then just stopping 100 at 120 for strength. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the skills that I have. So skill sets. So you can, like I said, you can use any weapons that you would like. Make sure it does suit that weapon though. So for example, if you're using handguns, hyper awareness, quick shot, shield matrix 2, and quick shot 2. The reason why I have 2 quick shots is because that way I get you can use one after the other. You don't have, they're both not going to go on cooldown. So generally you would, if you have quick shot 3, you would want to use quick shot 2 and 3 rather than 1 and 2. You can technically have 1, 2, and 3. If you do plan on doing that, then I would replace hyper awareness. But hyper awareness does help a lot with having better survivability. but it only works with one hit. So, I mean, in my opinion, I would replace Hyper Awareness with Quick Shot 3, but I don't have Quick Shot 3 yet. As you can see, my proficiency is only 9% on Quick Shot 2. But Shield Matrix also, you want to get Shield Matrix 2 or Shield Matrix 3 on this, because Shield Matrix 2 is going to be very, very, very useful. It's going to heal you while you're in your little shield. And then the next one, you can use shotguns, but most people honestly won't. I won't even use shotguns. Actually, I'm going to switch this with Shield Matrix as well. So you can go with Human Fortress, Omnia Vanitas, Sliding Shot, or Shield Matrix 2 if you're using submachine guns. The reason why I decided to put Shield Matrix 2 pretty much on all of my weapons is because this ability is going to help a lot. And this ability also costs like 60 or 70 or 80 vitality. You need that much vitality, I mean, in order to use this. So that's why it's going to be pretty useful to have a good amount of vitality. I'm not sure what the Shield Matrix 3 requirement is going to be, but I would imagine it'd be like in the hundreds or something. And then Human Fortress 1 is going to be really useful because it's going to make it to where you don't necessarily get knocked down. For example, I was fighting the Concealed Genbu, and the tail laser ability that he does when he locks on someone, it normally knocks them down on the ground. And being knocked on the ground, that's like 5 seconds of your time getting back up. But with Human Fortress, you still do take damage, the regular amount of damage, but you're able to actually not get knocked down, and you're able to just keep doing damage. So if you're getting shot by laser, you can move out the way while you have the Human Fortress on. You'll take a little bit of damage, but you'll still be able to keep shooting the enemy without being knocked down. Now, I can't say that for all, I wouldn't be able to say that for all types of damage, but maybe the knockdown resistance is stronger or something at Human Fortress 2 or 3. I'm not sure because I don't have those unlocked yet. Omnia Vanitas 2, so this one is really good just so that way you can get out of combat, or not necessarily get out of combat, but get away from danger. Especially if an enemy is about to charge at you, you would just do 3 steps away. If you had the 4th one or the 3rd one, you do 4 steps away. Sliding Shot, just so that way you can get yourself closer to the enemy, and as well as doing damage. I didn't really see any other abilities that I would rather use. Maybe Blazing Blast, or I guess Trigger Happy if you want to reduce the reload speed. There's other abilities you can use. You can decide for yourself if you want to use. And then Assault Rifles. So this one is my main weapon. This is not my secondary, this is my main weapon. So this is what the main weapon skills are going to pretty much look like. At least with these 3. The Concentration 2, you can switch that out. But Shield Matrix 1 and Shield Matrix 2. So what I would go with is Shield Matrix 2 and 3 if you have the 3rd one unlocked. But if you don't, if you have Shield Matrix 2 unlocked, then you want to have 1 and 2. The reason why is because that way you won't have to wait for a cooldown just in case if a boss or an enemy decides to use the same ability twice in a row. For example, if you fight pretty much any boss that has a lock-on ability, sometimes they'll shoot at you twice. Like the Honeymaker, he does his one-shot laser. Sometimes he'll do it once, sometimes he'll do it twice, sometimes even 3 times. But if he does it to you the first time, you have Shield Matrix 1, and then if he's going to do it to you again, you have Shield Matrix 2 ready. And it's only an 18-second cooldown. That's with very low intelligence as well. So you won't have to wait too long to get your Shield Matrix back. But if you only have 1, then you're waiting quite a while to get your Shield Matrix back. Tactical roll, that way you can reload your weapon without having to reload it, and it's a lot quicker. Especially if you're in danger, you can't just, if you reload, sometimes you have to stand still, or your character just moves even slower and whatnot. And the reason why I went with Concentration 2 is because it reduces the bullet circle reticle from expanding too much. When you use this, that's if you're using auto aim. If you're not using auto aim, or if you're always zoomed in, then Concentration might not be super useful. But if you are normally auto aimed, then you would want to definitely use this. If you're not auto aimed, what I would highly recommend is either Armor Form or Power Form. Power Form letting you do more damage, Armor Form letting you get a defense buff. The only reason why I don't use those right now for myself is because my Arphasis is set up to buff everyone, and then I also have, I think I have two other, no, I have another person in the group that does buffs as well. And then if you decide to use a sniper rifle, then I mean you can go with anything. I would just recommend Sentry Style and Shield Matrix. Human Fortress, I only use this so that way while I'm zoomed in I don't get knocked down. And then Eagle Eye Beacon, just so that when I use this, I'll try to hit the weak spot, and then I'll switch back to my assault rifle, or just use my sniper and then auto aim. Because when you auto aim against an enemy that has Eagle Eye Beacon on them, your auto aim is going to hit that eagle eye. You just have to make sure you're pointing in that direction. Gatling guns probably won't be able to actually use this because you won't have enough weight or gear weight in order to use a Gatling gun. The rocket launchers, I'm using Graviton Shot 3, Tactical Roll, Shield Matrix 2, and Hyper Awareness. So Hyper Awareness, like I said, is good for one hit, but it's pretty much a 3-minute cooldown. You can use anything else like Power Form or Armor Form, Concentration, or anything else that you think it would be good. Graviton Shot, oh yeah, I think I put Graviton Shot 2 on instead. But yeah, Graviton Shot 1, 2, and 3 would actually be really useful if you decided to do that instead of having Tactical Roll. So you can put all 3 of those on. Just make sure you do spread them out. You don't want to use them back to back to back, because sometimes if you use one Graviton Shot and then use the other one, it'll just pull the enemy further and further away from the Graviton Shots. So I'd like to just spread them out with each other within like 15 seconds or so. And then Shield Matrix 2, I always have this on every single equipment or weapon, just because you never know what could happen. The boss may use the one-shot ability, and when he does, you want to be ready, because trying to switch to your other weapons, sometimes it takes too long. In my opinion, it just takes way too long for the weapon to be switched and then the abilities to be ready. So that's why I like to have an important ability set up on each weapon. So Shield Matrix is the most important ability for this build, in my opinion. So now for the gadgets, you're going to go with Flashbang, Electromag Stun Trap, Metamaterial Camouflage, Proximity Mine. You can either go with Proximity Mine, First Aid Kit, Anti-Ailment Kit, pretty much anything, honestly. But I would go with Flashbang, Electromag Stun Trap, and Metamaterial Camouflage. And then the fourth one, you can just choose whatever of your liking. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the the equipment that I'm using. So with the equipment, I have both of these dual wield. So with the weapons, you can go with any weapon that you find more comfortable with using, or that has the better stats. For me, I enjoy my MG Minovsky. Like I said, the LMG Kumtag is really good as well, but my LMG Kumtag everyone's LMG Kumtag would weigh too much in order for them to use it with the amount of strength that you're only going to be using, which is 120. That means you need another 20 strength. Unless you can get it with the accessories, then that way you can use the LMG Kumtag. But yeah, so I'm using MG Minovsky, the same stats. It's got damage to life forms, damage to mechs, physical damage, crit rate, and weapon attack. The last two stats I would highly recommend putting is the damage at max HP, which is what I have on this one, and then weak spot damage. So those last two abilities would definitely help you a lot more with damage. You're going to be putting out so much more damage. And then the handgun that I have, I'm not exactly sure what debuff stacking does, but I'm using Long Stroke. And you can use either Long Stroke or Beetlejuice. Those two are, in my opinion, the best handguns in the game. Beetlejuice being better, but I gave it to my Arphasis. But the stats you want to have on it would be crit damage, weapon attack, crit chance, weak spot damage, and then what's the other ones? Oh, sorry. So you want weapon attack, the either physical or optical attack, depending on which one you're using. And then you want to have crit rate, crit damage, damage to mechs, damage to life forms, weak spot damage, and probably damage at max HP. If not that, then I guess you can go with shoot, I completely forgot what I was going for. Oh yeah, the bullet circle accuracy or bullet circle speed. You can go with one of those two. And now for the accessories, I have, it's the same ones I use in my other builds, just because I haven't found anything better, but a gas mask and my Barret. So my Barret right now has avoid instant death when HP is 30.67% or more, and dexterity plus 19. Those are the two important ones in this accessory. The defense versus humanoids I'm not worried about, especially since it's only 1.17%. What would be really nice is if it came with strength though, plus 20 strength, plus 20 dexterity, and then avoid instant death. And then for the gas mask, I have dexterity, vitality. And then what would be nice for the third stat would be, I think the HP recovery or max HP. That one would be really nice to have as well. But you want to definitely try to get dexterity on both of your accessories, just because that'll increase your damage output towards the crit damage as well as weak spot damage. And then having extra vitality for the extra defense, extra defense and survivability, or having strength so that way you can have more, you can use more, or you have a bigger variety of weapons. But that's pretty much it with this build video. If you guys thought this was helpful at all, let me know down in the comment section. Go and leave a like, comment, subscribe if it did help you. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section as well. And if you have any tips on any builds that I've posted, let me know as well, because I've actually had plenty of helpful tips on my sword build and my max physical damage builds and all that other stuff, you know. So I've had a lot of good help, positive feedback. So if you have anything positive feedback, any type of positive feedback, let me know as well, because anything helps, not just for me but other people as well that want to get better with this game. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a clip of the damage and whatnot with this build. I am fighting a boss that is pretty easy to beat anyways, because it has a really big weak spot, but it was a nice fight. I enjoyed it. But that's pretty much it. This is All Day Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and have a nice time watching the clip.